So lately, I'm having a lot of conversations around Service Cloud, and one of the most interesting thing there is email to cash. And I wanted to give a little bit of a rundown on what it entails, and hopefully this blog post may be useful if you decide to need more information on it. So predominantly, the challenge with email to case is that there's really no good way to automatically classify or categorize emails. So you have no way of figuring out which cases are important, which are not, what product they're about, what's the nature of inquiry, is it billing, technical, all of that. And it can take a lot of manual effort to do that. Really hard to prioritize things and really hard to make sense of them. So really just trying to streamline them is difficult. And it boils down into these three challenges. First, there's a complete lack of context. Unless you read the email, you have no idea what it's about. I can send you a whole article on how to buy Bitcoins to your support at yourcompany.com email address, and you would not know anything better. And what that means is because every email has to be read manually, there is no way to triage. You have to do it one by one. It is a manually intensive and extremely linear process, and there's not that much ability to do anything in parallel. Well, you can have a bunch of support reps read it, but again, not ideal. The third part of this is the sentiment of the customer is buried. I may be having a terrible time with your offering, but you don't know because you can't triage. And that's the problem. There's also subjectivity because of different languages, different way we say things. The word interesting, as I realized lately, has very different meanings in the culture you are in. But anyway, bottom line is not knowing what the email is, having a linear process which is forced upon you, and lacking customer context. And these are things where AI is really smart. It has the ability to understand unstructured data. So as soon as a case gets created from an email to case, you can actually apply AI to summarize the case. You can apply it to identify the product, the nature of inquiry, and you can automatically update those things on the case using products like GPT-5, which let you integrate your AI LLM models with this. The other thing that's interesting is it can look at sentiment. So it can give you enough context around what's the undercurrent, and then you can basically take it from there. So effectively what you can do is you can have a chart like this where email comes in, GPT-5 can extract your data, send it to AI model, get some analysis. And if your AI model is integrated with a RAG capability, then it can also get back some recommended resolution. We can update it on the case itself. Your routing rules can assign the case. So by the time an agent actually receives a case, they are picking it up from the correct queue, correct nature of complaint. They can see a summary, the sentiment, and the possible resolution that AI is recommending. And then they can decide if this makes sense. They can click a button, generate an empathetic email around it, and they can take that draft, make changes to it. That's the bottom line. Your ability to use AI to actually do really sophisticated end-to-end automation is incredibly compelling to reduce your cost of support, to reduce the mean time to resolution, and to improve customer satisfaction. And all of this is possible really easily these days. So this is an approach that you can look. One of the things I do want to highlight here is that whether it's support or sales or anything else, bottom line is from a customer experience perspective, you want the balance. You want to use AI where it excels in terms of efficiency and does the heavy lifting on boring, soul-sucking, mundane jobs. And then you also want to blend in a human touch where that makes sense. And with those two things, you can resolve cases faster, cheaper, and still delight your customer. There is a video demo of this if you go to gpt5.ai. I hope this is useful. Very curious to hear if you are seeing support as an important use case in this scenario. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much.